All right, excellent. Thank you guys for checking out the video, and thank you for everybody who's joining. This is streaming live on YouTube, so all the YouTubers out there, thank you so much for joining. Today we're going to go over credit violations and some of the most common credit violations that I'm seeing that are actually generating compensation for my clients. What's happening a lot of times is people don't realize that errors on your credit report do happen, and it happens more common and more frequently than you can ever think of. It's just some people know what to do and some people don't. So my goal is to build a community and give my clients and give my followers a way to find out what is going on with the credit, ways to build their credit. And if you do have a violation, I want to be the resource where you get the education and the tools to not only get that account deleted, but get the compensation that's fair and just for the pain and suffering that you've been having from a low credit score. So I do have some guests on here today. Erica is number one from Alto Credit. I do have
Hey guys.
Erica, do a brief intro by yourself.
Hi everyone. I am Erica Stevens. I am one of the founders of Alto Credit Advisors, located in the Bronx.
Yeah, and Hector next.
Hi, my name is Hector, also known as Bams or Dr. Bams on Instagram. I have a company called Honest Credit, focusing on credit repair, travel, hacking, and anything credit related.
Yes, and Jose.
Hey, Jose Baez, Fresh Focus Credit Solutions. I've been doing this for a while, 10 years or so. Love helping you people, and looking forward, to helping more people.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you guys so much. So let's kind of jump into it. Credit violations is centered around the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the laws that are really accessible to all the consumers out there. All right. This disclaimer, before I get into everything, I want you guys to understand I am not an attorney, and any attorneys that I do have relationships with are my attorneys. They're not your attorneys. There is no attorney-private client privilege, and the information you're going to be getting here is for educational and entertainment purposes only. All right, let's jump right in. So when it comes to credit reporting, you have a right to dispute and challenge anything that's negative on your credit report. In fact, you could dispute anything that is inaccurate and incomplete on your credit report, even if it is positive and you just want the account off. This is something that's said by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. It's not me. I didn't make it up, but the information is there. And if you have your phone or if you're on your desktop, take a look at it. You're going to Google either the FCRA fact sheet, and you should get this copy of the release from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Or if you want to be super technical, you're going to see on the bottom here a link. You can click that link, and this will take you right to it. All right. So to sum it up, anything that's on the credit report that is not 100% accurate has to be corrected or deleted. If it is inaccurate, it is incomplete, or if it's unverifiable and they cannot correct the information within a 30-day time frame, this is the law. This is what governs all of credit repair out there. Information that is inaccurate cannot be there. It misrepresents you as a consumer. And information that is incomplete cannot obviously be factored into your credit score because it's incomplete. It's not on there. If I make a 5-year payment history and I'm only getting credit for 2 years, then I'm missing 3 years of important data, and my credit score is not going to be as high as it could be should I make those payments on time. And this is the entire basis of what credit repair is and what credit violations sets out the change in the industry, so that you guys understand what to look for when you're looking at inaccurate information or incomplete information on your credit report. All right. Furnishers. Now, there's a common misconception that the credit reporting agencies are bureaus, that they're government related. And in reality, they're not. They have no government affiliation. And more than half the time, they're in some sort of trouble with the CFPB and with the government for making errors, making mistakes, getting hacked, not conducting investigations completely and accurately. And this kind of sums up that credit reporting is 100% voluntary. You do not, or any company out there does not have to report on your credit report. Credit cards do not have to report on your credit report, but if they choose to report on your credit report, which is optional, It has to be 100% accurate. They cannot make those mistakes. And if you catch those mistakes and they do not delete it, now they're liable to you for violating your rights. All right, now which credit report to use? It's important to understand that when you're accessing your credit report, you're just not pulling credit reports from credit monitoring services. They are a great tool to see what's going on with your credit, so you can combine all three credit reporting agencies and compare them. But these are not the actual reports from the credit reporting agencies. The information that's on there, you cannot use this. If you ever have to go to court, you cannot use this in court because the credit reporting agencies are going to say, it's not from us, it's not my data. I don't know where you got it from, but there could be errors on there. And because you're using a third party, you will have a harder time suing for a fair amount than if you use the actual credit report from the credit reporting agencies. And by that, I don't mean just go to Equifax.com and play your credit. That's not going to give you the actual credit report. If you go to Equifax.com and you click submit a dispute because you find an error on your credit report that you want to dispute yourself, most of the time we're going to go on there, right? We're going to hit submit a dispute, and what we're expecting is Equifax to give us our credit report that we can easily understand so we can go ahead and get that account deleted. Now, the problem is when you go to Equifax.com and you click that button right here, submit a dispute, it's going to take you to My Equifax. My Equifax is technically a little bit different than Equifax. And by the time you get to My Equifax, you're not pulling the actual disclosure. And if you look down here, by the time you get it, the information that you're pulling has no warranty of accuracy, no warranty of completeness. So if you had to take this information, you already agreed that you're not going to be able to use this information in court because you understand that it is not the actual credit report and there's no warranty of correctness or completeness. So think about it. How are you going to sue after you agreed that you understand that the information is probably not accurate and probably not complete? So this is why I do not recommend going to My Equifax if you're going to try and dispute something on your credit report, because if they do violate your rights, but they do not conduct a fair and accurate investigation, you're kind of shot yourself in the foot right there. Let's look at TransUnion. If you go to transunion.com, by the time you click dispute, it's going to take you to this screen right here. You do not want to use this credit report because what's going to happen again is it transfers you to TransUnion Consumer Interactive. So you started out at TransUnion, you click dispute, and somehow you ended up to TransUnion Interactive, which is technically a subsidiary of TransUnion and not the actual disclosure that you're going to use when you want to find out errors going in your credit report. Remember, guys, these credit reporting agencies are marketing companies. They are light years ahead of the game. They've been doing this for years. So it's you against them. You have to understand that they're going to use slightly deceptive practices to kind of protect themselves as a company because they understand they have to update over 1 billion pieces of data every single month. There's going to be errors in there. And if they can distract you or they can send you to get the improper credit reports, it increases the likelihood that they can keep some of that money in their pocket if you do find errors and violations. The one you want to use in all, I went too quick. This right here, TransUnion. This is just a copy of them saying there's no warranties again with it. All right, you're using it at your own risk. Remember that. Same thing Equifax has is the same thing that TransUnion is giving you. You're using it at your own risk. It is not the actual credit report that you want to use. So just be thoughtful about that. It can be a guide, but it's not all. All right. You only want to use this report. This one is from annualcreditreport.com. That's this right here. Annualcreditreport.com is going to give you the actual disclosure. It's a little more difficult to read, but trust me, it's broken down into sections and it gives you your full credit history, something that you can follow. And if you read it in a few minutes, you're going to start understanding what you're looking at. But this is the one you have to use because this is the leverage that you need, that if an account is not deleted or your rights are violated, you need to be able to show them that I pulled the actual credit report and the error still stands. So go ahead, annualcreditreport.com. If you look at it, make sure you write this down because no matter what you want to do for convenience, if you ever have to sue for an error, you have to use this credit report, period. All right, let's start off with incomplete reporting. This is something that I'm finding a lot of. Incomplete reporting is a great way to get accounts deleted, especially those pesky charge-off accounts. If you had a payment history and it's not reporting the whole amount, guess what? It's inaccurate. And something that's been happening, even February of this year, there was a huge article that went out because it's saying through the CFPB website that in 2020, they noted that the largest credit card companies out there were suppressing payment data. That means all those years of positive payments that you thought you were getting credit for, you're not. And again, I didn't say it. They did. If you take a look online and just Google the title, you'll be able to read the entire full article. This is information that's public to everybody, and it's been going back and forth and happening. The CFPB website is a phenomenal resource to get an understanding of what's going on in the credit industry, to understand what changes are happening and which companies may be liable for violating your rights. So take a look at this article. It's been published. There's been tons of correspondence about it. I'm just putting it up here for you guys to have guidance, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you what incomplete reporting looks like. So imagine this right here. You get a credit card in 2013, and you've been paying every single month on time. I'm making my payments. I'm making sure there's money in my bank account. I'm working hard, and I'm expecting that the payment history is being built so I can eventually one day buy a house for my family, and live a beautiful life. Well, guess what? By the time you run your credit report, you start seeing that, hey, I'm not getting approved for certain things, even though I've been making my payments on time. Well, in this situation, the client, as many payments as they thought they made, the credit reporting agencies are not furnishing it. The only payments that the credit reporting agencies put out there and published about this particular customer is the negative ones, the 90, 120, and it actually just stays at 120. So that's inaccuracy, right? Incomplete data is a violation of your credit report because the scoring algorithms like FICO or Vantage, they only increase or decrease based on this information. The credit reporting agencies are data warehouses, so they're only taking the information that's given to them. They don't create your scores. They don't create your FICO. All they do is take a bunch of data that's been given to them from all the credit card companies, student loan companies, etc., and they furnish it for everybody who buys the credit report to see. If they're furnishing information about you that's incomplete, they have just violated your rights. And this is one of hundreds and hundreds of files that I've gone through that have incomplete data. Here's how I feel about it. And I want to give you my honest opinion, because there was an article that went out that said the credit reporting agencies have about, I think it's 79% of errors. I beg to differ, right? I think 100% of credit reports have some sort of error or some sort of incomplete reporting. And I can back up a lot of the statements that I'm saying because I go through credit reports every day. I've seen thousands of credit reports, and most credit reports that I have gone through have some sort of missing data or inaccurate information most of the time. So what happens is when you look at your credit report, if you don't know that this information is missing or this information is inaccurate and you don't dispute it, you're going to be stuck with negative information, and you're not going to get the credit score that you truly deserve because they're misrepresenting you. And that's exactly what's going on right here. Look at this. Again, 2013, this account is open. Only data that's being furnished to them is the negative information that's only going to hurt their credit score. And it's not going to hurt the account here. It's going to hurt all the other accounts that they've been paying on time because guess what? This account is completely negative. Let me show you another example. Diamond Credit Union. This one right here. No data. Although some of the account charged off between all this data right here, guess what? It's still inaccurate. If you're furnishing inaccurate information, guess what? It cannot be on the credit report. And this is how you leverage for deletion. All you have to do is read the credit report and look for the incomplete information, right? This incomplete information violates my rights under the FCRA, and I want it deleted. Let's go to another example. Ally Financial. This one right here, all these positive payments, 52 months of missing data is missing on this credit report. Think about it. Like I gave you the example before. Ally Financial, I start paying my car or I start paying my credit card on time every month with hopes to be able to use my credit in the future. But guess what? When I look to buy my house, my score is too low because I haven't been getting 52 months of payment history that's owed to me in my credit report. So my credit score is being affected negatively because of your negligence. And that's the stance you want to have and understand when it comes to credit disputing, is that the credit reporting agencies make mistakes. It's clear. And I'm going to continue showing some more, but definitely look at one like this, because if you look at your annual credit report and you find errors, 52 months of data that's missing, and all they furnish are the negative information, they have just violated your rights. Let's go to another one. Capital One Auto Finance. This one opened, I don't have the opening date, but guess what? Let's say 2016. Between 2016 and 2023, the only payment that Capital One Auto Finance furnished to the credit reporting agencies is one 30-day late in January 2017. That 30-day late is only going to hurt the credit score. What happened to all the positive payments? Imagine this customer paid since 2016 to 2023 on time, pays it as agreed as the account status says, and they get no credit for that payment history. Their credit score is going to suffer, first of all, and it's going to tank. That 30-day late shouldn't even be there. Although it's older, it still has a negative effect on the credit report, and we do not want to see this account. So a client like this, unless they can update this information to show accurate and input all those months of positive payment history to boost up the credit score, if they can't do it, I need this account deleted. And that's the stance you want to have. Listen, it's incomplete reporting. It doesn't belong there. I want you to delete it. And that's how you get these charge-off accounts, or any account on your credit report is looking for those inaccuracies. Now, again, we went through this a little bit earlier, but again, they have to promptly delete any item of information that's on the file that is inaccurate or incomplete. In this case, I just showed you a lot of incomplete information, and let's go over to inaccuracies. Credit reporting inaccuracies. On this one right here, if we look at Popular Bank, if you know what to look for, I think it's to kind of jump out, as some of you guys already do. But for those of you who do not know what to look for when it comes to credit reporting inaccuracies, this is one. A charge-off account. If you look right here, this status is charge off, which means the company has already written it off. They're forced to write off accounts within 6 months from their books, because in reality, if the person is not going to pay you, they would have probably made that decision within 6 months. You're not going to prolong and just keep the bleeding going. The government regulates how long they can try and collect on an open account, so they're forced to close it and charge it off within a 6-month period. If you look at this credit report right here, this is a credit monitoring site. This one compares 3 different credit reporting agencies together: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. It's going to give the information side by side so you can compare and easily look for errors that are reporting on the credit report. This TransUnion report has a monthly payment of $419 on a collections or charge-off account. Now, if you know much about credit, guess what? A charge-off account cannot have a monthly payment. It can have a balance like you see right here. They owe $74.96, but guess what? They cannot have a $419 payment added to their credit on an account that's already charged off. If you look at Equifax, 0, and you look at Experian, 0, these two are reporting accurately. But TransUnion, they're violating 100% the rights, because think about it. If you want to go for a house, a car, anything that has to look at your credit, and they take a look at your TransUnion report, they're going to subtract from your usable income $419 a month. Well, guess what? I don't have a $419 a month payment because Popular Bank already wrote this off in their books. So this is an error. And clients like this, when we dispute them and it's not fixed within a 30-day time frame, guess what? They're up for compensation. And the reason why is because every investigation that has to happen has to yield either an update to be accurate, or it has to yield an account being deleted. Let's look at another one. Repossessions. A repossession happens if you have a car. Let's say you stop making payments on the car, and the car company, in this case, Santander, decides to come pick up the car out of your driveway, on the street. It could be in a shopping mall. But what happens is they're going to take the car because their intention is to sell the car and recover some of those losses because you stopped paying them. Now, the problem is, after they sell the car, you're only responsible for a portion of what's left. You're not responsible for the whole amount of the car or the original amount that the car had. In this case, the unpaid balance was $9,790. The customer, in this case, had their car repossessed, and they sold the car for $10,000. Now, this is a rare case. It's not common, but in this case, the account sold for higher than the customer actually owed. They had equity in the vehicle. So at this point, Santander had to send the client a check in the mail because when they sold it, they actually owed the client $209. But then with fees of retaking the vehicle, cost of selling, etc., it added up to $787. So the net between these two means that the client had to pay a total of $577 after the car was repossessed and sold. After it's sold in the market, the credit report should have been updated to show $577. Guess what? It wasn't. It still reflected a $10,000 balance, which is actually higher than you have here, but the $10,000 balance owed is an error and a violation. Once you dispute this information to the credit reporting agencies and they don't fix it, or Santander updates it as saying it's verified as accurate, guess what? They have all just verified, just violated your rights, including Santander, and all of them are on the hook. So this is one that's common. If you or somebody that you know has ever had a car repossessed, whether it's voluntary or whether they came and picked it up and eventually sold it, if they don't update the balance on your credit report to reflect accurately, they have just violated your rights. And that is exactly how you get those accounts deleted. And if they're not fixed, guess what? You can get compensated for it. Look at this client right here. This is identity theft. This was a huge battle. I actually worked on the whole family with this one. So these three bureaus are reporting an account with Elin Financial, let's say. Now, this account eventually charged off as identity theft. We disputed it one time, and the account was not deleted from the credit report. Guess what? Experian said that they don't have to follow the laws, right? You're going to dispute a negative account. Experian said, I'm not deleting it from the credit report. And all we said was, okay, Experian, TransUnion, you're off the hook. Equifax, you're off the hook. But Experian, we're going to sue you in court because you should have deleted it in the legal time frame. In this case, the way we disputed it, we gave them a 30-day notice. They did not remove it within 30 days. Experian and Elin Financial Services are both on the hook in this lawsuit. So the client is able to sue not only one, but two companies in this one. This is a credit violation. And these are real identity theft situations. Let me show you another one. Another identity theft. HSBC Bank, we disputed it. The customer had a situation where the account, let's say it was open, fraudulently, somebody had it, used it, and at some point they stopped paying. The customer was notified that there was a negative account in their credit report. They looked at the credit, they said, wait, this account was never me. They called me up, we looked at the credit, we went through a full evaluation, we disputed it. This account was deleted from Equifax as required by law, but Experian again wants to be big and bad, said, I'm not deleting this account. No problem, Experian. Both you and HSBC will see you in court. And this was filed literally in a 30-day time frame. Once we got the client, onboarded them, submitted the dispute, we waited 30 days. You set the clock. If the account is not fixed or deleted in that 30-day time frame, they have just violated your rights and you have a case. And you have to act on it. Look at this right here. 1 and 2, Experian and HSBC Bank are on the hook. The client's going to get paid some money, and it's definitely worth it to understand if you are a victim of identity theft. If someone has taken your information and opened an account without your authorization, or they have used your credit card information, or they have used your bank account and stolen funds, guess what? You are a victim of identity theft. Those are different types of identity theft, and you can be compensated if it's not fixed in the 30-day time frame. All right, look at this one. This is a little more technical. So this account right here is a client who came to me for help. I'm looking at his credit, and I'm noticing that Equifax says he has a 30-day late 4 times. Experian says he has a 30-day late 4 times, but TransUnion has 7 times late. This is kind of questionable because if you're paying one account multiple times and you're seeing 2 different late payment amounts, guess what? You have to look deeper into this. And if you remember what I told you about, think to yourself, which credit report am I going to pull? Am I going to go to Equifax and pull it? Am I going to go to TransUnion and pull it? No. You're going to annualcreditreport.com. You're going to pull the TransUnion credit report. You're going to pull the Equifax credit report, and you're going to pull Experian's credit report. You're going to go down to this particular account, and you're going to check the 30 days and see how many days are late. You're going to check Equifax's 30 days, see how many days are late, and since they match up 4 and 4, you're going to go to TransUnion. Now, if you were not late 7 times, TransUnion just violated your rights under the FCRA, and they marked you late when you shouldn't have been late. And that's what happened to this auto financing account. They marked the client late when they shouldn't have been late. The people in this situation was American Honda Finance. If we look at right here, late, 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 late. But then if you go here, late, 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 4 times again. And if you go right here, this is the problem. Late, 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 late. That's 7 lates when the client was only late 4 times. That is 100% a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And if this is not deleted within a 30-day time frame after notifying them, guess what? The client can get paid some cash. Authorized users is another one. These authorized user accounts, what happens is, as an authorized user, sometimes people add you as a user on the account and they don't even ask you. It could be a wife, it could be a husband. They could have added their children on there. But a lot of times people say, if I add you as an authorized user, you can get a credit card, you can use it, and I'm helping you out. While they think that they're helping you, what happens is every single thing that happens with that account reports on your credit report. So as an authorized user to somebody else's account, if the person is paying on time, everything is great. But as soon as that person stops paying their account on time, 100% of the time, if you are an authorized user and it's on your credit report, they're going to pull down your credit score as if it was your account. So if they're late 30 days, your score is going to go down and it's going to tank. In this case, if you look right here, it went 30, it went 60, it went 90, it went 120 days, 120 days, and 120 days before it charged off. Now, guess what? When you have authorized user accounts, a lot of times, like I said, people don't always ask you to be added as an authorized user. They think they're doing a good service to you. But 2 or 3 years down the line, they stop paying. Guess what? It's going to hurt your credit. And there's no sign of authorization for this company, Chase, to even be on their credit report. So guess what you have to do if you want to get this off? You have to tell TransUnion, you have to tell Equifax. And you'll find that sometimes they say they're not going to delete it. Well, I'm sorry, TransUnion. I'm sorry, Equifax. If you decide you're not going to remove this authorized user account that I'm trying to get off of, I gave nobody permission to put me on here, you're going to be sued for it 100% of the time in court. So if you have an authorized user account and it's a charge off, you have to understand you have rights. Think about it. There's no proof that you ever asked to be on there. And if they're going to continue reporting it as charge off and quote unquote verifying the accuracy of this account, you have leverage. So you can get this account deleted or you can take them to court. That's authorized user account, something else to look out for. Next one, 1099Cs. 1099Cs, cancellation of debt. There's a ton of case law on this right here. What companies are saying is if I issue a 1099C cancellation of debt, it does not eliminate the fact that you still have to pay them. I beg to differ. If you have the identifiable code event G, that's an IRS tax code that says the account was canceled. Now, if you read some of the laws that are out there, they're going to say that cancellation of debt in cases in the past have already proven that they do not mean that you do not owe the debt anymore. It's just a way for the company to pass that tax liability to the consumer. So in this case, Discover Bank passes the tax liability to the consumer. But if you ever call Discover Bank or any company that's reporting a 1099C on your credit report, call them, record the conversation, say, hey, do I owe a debt to you? Discover Bank will tell you, the representative will pick up the phone and say, yes, you owe, or no, you do not owe. When the representative picks up and they answer, you record it. Recording is what's going to save you a ton of headache in court, because in this case, the credit reporting agencies and Discover are going to fight tooth and nail so they don't lose this case and they don't have to pay you. But if you have a recording, that's the nail in the coffin you're looking for. And just don't record one conversation. Record 2, record 3, record 4 times. So if they ever say, hey, listen, that was a small error we made. Nah, I called you guys 4 times. I have 4 different representatives that say, I do not owe a balance in this account and I cannot make a payment on this account. So you give yourself leverage. It's all about leverage and evidence. You have to build the case when you know that you're a victim of credit reporting errors or violation. You build the case from day one, all right? Record it, your phone conversations. Tell them, hey, all right, great. You're going to record it. I'm going to record the phone call also. Thank you so much. And keep the recording. The iPhones have it. Get your tablet, get something. But you're going to need this proof because guess what? They're not going down without a fight, all right? Look at this right here. We just went through 2731, cancellation of debt. And when we go through the credit report, they're showing a 2731 incorrect balance. Now, the good thing is with this one, I disputed this account about 4 times. And all 4 times it came back as verified. Now, what do I have the consumer do? Listen, I need you to call them up and record it. Record with 2 or 3 representatives. What do you owe? Have them send you a paper in the mail showing you don't owe a balance, okay? You don't want to spook them. You're not going to be confrontational. You're just going to say, hey, do I owe you money? Yes or no? And they'll hang themselves out to dry. In this case, the account was in dispute, which means that the dispute indicator is on the credit report, and Experian is showing that they received the dispute and they decided not to acknowledge it. They threw it away. They did not remove the account. They did not fix the account. In fact, they're still showing an incorrect balance owed, when in reality, they issued a 1099-C and the customer has a recording of them saying they don't owe the debt. So this is something you want to remember. Tax season is coming up in a few months. If you get a 1099-C, or if you are a tax preparer or accountant and you get 1099-Cs, you have to make sure that the client knows to check their credit report. All right. See this charge-off account that they wrote off. Make sure it's not reporting a balance on your credit. And the only people that are going to be able to do that are the consumers in which their accounts are being violated. See, the problem is only a small percentage of people check their credit every month. And the consumer reporting agencies know that. So they get away with these errors. This right here is a huge one. And the client was able to get compensated several $1,000s because of this violation right here. And if you have this error, I'm going to give you my phone number at the end. Make sure you reach out to me. All right, let's play a little game. I know we went through a ton of information and it's just me rambling on about credit errors, violations. This is something that I'm passionate about. I love what I do. I do it every day. I've seen thousands and thousands of credit reports. And now I'm really focused on just giving the community a lot of information. And on this one right here, I want to make it a little more fun. So if you guys are out there with this credit report that I have up in front of you, what is wrong with this credit? We went through several different errors that are common. What do you see that's an error on this one? I'll give you maybe a few more seconds, and then I'll tell you. Look closely. Boom, right there in front of you, right? $410, $410. If you ever see 2 collection companies collecting on one debt, what is that? It's a violation, right? Say it. Anytime there's something that's wrong in your credit, inaccurate, incomplete, we're going to use a violation. In this case, this $410 is being collected by Phoenix Financial and Commonwealth Financial. We talked about we didn't talk about collection companies today, but if you ever look, just Google collection company violations, errors. There was just a huge lawsuit with one of the largest collection companies out there, Portfolio Recovery, collecting on debts they didn't even have the paperwork for. This is exactly what it is. If you don't have the paperwork to collect on this $410, guess what? You're doing something called debt parking. Look up debt parking. All these terms right here are going to give you an insight of what's going on. Debt parking is a real thing. And it was discussed with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that companies like collection companies are taking accounts that they're buying on Excel spreadsheets and they're putting it on people's credit report without proper authorization to do so. They don't even have the paperwork. One of these companies don't have the paperwork, but both of them will take your $410 if you paid them. That's a violation. And if it's not deleted, in what kind of time frame? 30 days. If you dispute this one time and it's on any credit reporting agency and they do not remove this negative account, not only could the collection company be on the hook to pay some cash, but each credit reporting agency that decided not to remove it within that 30-day time frame will be on the hook. And this right here is a huge violation. And it happens. I have tons and tons of scenarios where I have double reporting and even reporting with 2 collection companies collecting on the same debt. Look at this right here, another double reporting. Jefferson Capital Systems and Affirm. Affirm came out of Storm. They're giving people money to buy your TVs, these small micro loans, right? It's not a ton of money, but you can buy Pelotons, you can buy TVs, you go to Walmart, get your favorite stuff, whatever you want with Affirm. They'll give you the money, but guess what? They're held to the same standard as any other company out there. This $955 balance, guess what? Affirm is trying to collect $955 and Jefferson Capital Systems is trying to collect $955. What's wrong with this account? 2 companies cannot collect on the same debt. And if you ever find a duplicate reporting or two collections or two companies reporting that you owe them a balance for the same account, you have to look at that. You have to dispute it. Or like I said, I'm gonna give you my number. Take a look at it. Send me a text message. Say, hey, listen, I do need some help. I have an error that I've been working on, or I noticed in my credit report. And the goal is to help you get this deleted. And if it's not deleted within that time frame, get you some cash, right? The money's sitting out there. These credit reporting agencies make billions and billions of dollars. A few hundred is not going to kill them. A few thousand is not going to kill them. But I know if they violate your right, it's something that's fair and it'll help you sleep better at night. So this is double reporting. This is huge. I have a lot of examples on this, and I'll make sure I post a few more examples just for you guys to know, okay, what means double reporting? Am I looking at the balances? Am I looking at opening dates? But I'll make sure I'm armed with the correct information so you can get these accounts deleted. Let's go another one, double reporting, right? So this series of double reporting, I just put a few of them together for you, is this. November 19th, this is technical. A lot of times what happens is if you have a credit card, you use it, you pay it, use it, pay it, use it, pay it, and you lose the card at some point. Most close out the old account and they'll give you a brand new account number. Now you'll have two for the same card, right? The same card that you had, same account. One is going to end. In this case, it should have ended October 2019, and it should have picked up November. It didn't. It ended in November 2019 as a charge off, and November 2019, guess what? It picked up as a charge off. Now, this right here is a violation of the FCRA, and if it's not deleted within a certain time frame, guess what? The client can sue for some cash. We see it, right? How do we know? Same opening date, 9/20/2016, 9/20/2016. If it's not deleted, guess what? You just violated my rights because you verified it as accurate. Check the credit limit, $20,000. So his amount was $20,000, and guess what? They're not updating it correctly. In fact, they probably don't even have the information accurately. So since they're not deleting it, guess what? We're going to take them to court. We're going to make sure the client gets some cash. And it's just pure compensation. It's only right. Look at this right here. This is another one. Macy's. The account is open. TransUnion showing derogatory closed. Experian, derogatory closed. But Equifax has it listed as open. Oof, that's huge. That's definitely error on the client on the client's credit report, right? And since it's an open account, their system, whatever electronic automated AI system they have, has it listed as current with a monthly payment of $27. Well, here's the problem. You cannot have a monthly payment of $27 lifted on the credit report and be considered a charge-off at the same time. If we look at TransUnion and it says charge-off, and look at Experian, it says charge-off, chances are this account is a charge-off and it's reporting inaccurately. This inaccurate reporting is showing that the client has a $27 a month obligation when in reality they do not. It's charged off, and if this is not deleted within a 30-day time frame, you can imagine this client is able to sue for some cash. Not only is the account going to get deleted, but they're going to get fairly compensated for the stress that they've been going through and the money that they spent trying to dispute, certify letters, right? Time, anguish, getting declined for stuff, right? So if you don't take your credit into your own hands, the credit reporting agencies are not required just to find out what's going on. They're only required to perform an investigation and fix it after you've disputed it. But if you never dispute negative information on your credit report, it's not going to get fixed by itself. Look at this right here. Nordstrom. If you have a moment, take a look at this account. Tell me what's wrong with it. Take a few minutes. Take a minute. Right? Think to yourself, what are some of the things I just went through? This Nordstrom account is on their credit report. Even though it's not reporting negative, guess what? Right here. Take a look at this area right here. Look. Do you see it now? Current balance, 0. Monthly payment, $210. Right there. How do I owe you no money, but I owe you money? I don't owe you money, but I owe you money, right? These are errors that are happening 100% of the time with these credit violations. And if you don't know what to look for, if you don't know how it reports or how it should report, you're not armed with the information to make the necessary changes. So 100%, if you find something like this, the 0 balance and a monthly payment due, listen, dispute it. Hey, Nordstrom, I don't owe you $210. You're going to send this to Equifax. Equifax is going to send that dispute to Nordstrom. Nordstrom has to do an investigation and get that information back to the credit reporting agency. The credit reporting agency has to get it back to you. All that has to happen in 30 days. All right. And that's a 30-day time frame that you have to sit back and wait and see. Does it come back as verified as accurate, or is it removed as from the credit report? All right. Now we talked about money, right? This is something I found online. You can actually Google this one. This was a huge, actually, I haven't had a claim this much. I am working on one that's closer to 100,000 because of an error and violation of one of my customers' credit reports. But this one right here is a really good amount. So you have a situation where Younger sued Experian as well as PRA, I forgot the name of the acronym, but PRA and other credit reporting agencies, right? The settlement totaled to $76,000. All right, that's a huge amount. We just did a portfolio recovery, right? Sorry, it just came back to me. We just talked about how they were collecting on debts that they had no paperwork for. They cannot even verify. They had incorrect information, right? That $22 million that they had to pay, guess what? If you have portfolio on your credit report, chances are they violated your rights also, and you're sitting there not doing anything about it. This client did something about it. They did something, and it ended up being on the news, or it ended up being on a CFPB website talking about it for $76,000. Listen, if somebody messes up your credit report and you get $76,000 from it, that's a huge. I highly doubt you're going to be upset after that. You might be a little happy for there. All right, I know I would. $76,000 is a good amount of money.
So,
I'm happy with that.
so Amos, I have a question. Is this the question part? Can we intervene and ask some questions? Because I want to. Yeah. So what does this settlement look like for a client? Because 76,000 is obviously before trial and there's like money involved. So what does this look like for people that are, potentially are the plaintiff? Is it the plaintiff? Yeah, right. So like if is that what they're getting, or how does that work?
So in this situation, I wasn't involved in this at all. This is just one that I found when I was just doing some research, looking for interesting cases. But in most of the time, what's going to happen is just the total settlement. If you're represented by an attorney, the attorney is going to negotiate for you, right? They're going to try and get the best amount possible for this particular debt. So if it's settled for a total of $76,000, the client still has to pay the attorney. The attorney has to pay their team because it's a team that goes behind it. And whatever the difference is, the client will be able to take that and enjoy the differences.
Gotcha.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So look at that, $76,000, which is pretty dope. And I'm trying to move quick so I can get through a lot of information. All right. I will open up a Q&A afterwards. I don't know if someone's asking some questions, but I just want to get through a ton of information because this is only the first one I'm doing, but I have more to give you guys. I have a ton more. And this is just one that made $76,000. And I don't know about you or anyone else in this call, $76,000 is a good chunk of change. All right. Here's another one. This client right here, $4,000. Right? For an error on the credit report. This $4,000 error cost the credit reporting agencies, in this case, Experian, because they did not perform the necessary investigation required by law. Think about it. This is real. It happens every day. The problem is with these settlements, okay, you are required to give up all rights of talking about it. You cannot talk about the cases, right? So since the clients are like locked into secrecy, people don't know that this is happening on a regular basis. I'm talking about there are hundreds, there's thousands of filings every single month against the credit reporting agency. And only the people who know what's going on or know about credit are getting away with it. Well, the problem is if you don't know what's going on with your credit, it's about time you make that investment. It's about time you look on YouTube, find out the common errors, join the credit violations group. We'll go through the errors that are going on there. There's going to be a ton of information. There are going to be other people who have gone through the process already. And you have access from time to time to attorneys that you can ask questions to. And this information is something that's so valuable because not only making $76,000 that they put out in settlement, but you can make $4,000, you can make $5,000, you can make $300, you can make $800, right? Every little bit helps. And the reason why is because they understand that they made a mistake, right? They're not going to argue with you. If they made a mistake and they want to say, listen, I'll pay you, you go away, you have to sign secrecy forms. So I don't have a lot of these examples, and I'm not going to show you too much information because I do have to respect the customers that I do service. But to understand that you have rights, and when your rights are violated, you have to know what next to do. And that's what this group is about. And be sure to ask me questions. I'm going to give you my information here. If you have violations, if you are a victim of identity theft, if someone has used your information without your permission, if you have double reporting, if someone has taken your debit card information, if you have paid off accounts that are reporting with balances, those are all violations. And I'll be able to show you how you can leverage the FCRA to get those accounts deleted. And if they're not deleted within a 30-day time frame, I do have attorneys that we work with that most of the time, and by most, I mean 99% of the time, they will work on your behalf. You do not have to compensate them. They get compensated at the end of the case, which is a win-win for you. You get money and you get the accounts deleted. Right? Well, does anybody have any questions about what I went through so far? Excellent. So I'm very happy. This is my first one. I try to condense a lot of information. If you do have questions or you want to see something in particular, my number is there. You can send me a text message. It will come to my phone. All right. And I'll be able to provide you additional assistance. Follow me at the Credit Maven. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and a few other places. My name is Amos Stevens. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Hey, you did good. You did good.